We have reached the town of Des Allemands, which literally means the Germans, and it's known as the Catfish Capital of the universe, so suck it, Jupiter. It was developed on the Coteau de France, which was a large tract of land that included the area north and east of Lake Des Allemands to the Mississippi River. It's also pronounced Lake Des Allemands. It was part of the original claim of Antoine Folse, who was the acknowledged founder of the town of Vacherie, and it included 640 acres of cultivated land. In 1721, John Law and the Company of the Indies settled Germans along the Mississippi River in present-day St. Charles and St. John the Baptist parishes. 4 German towns were established along the river called Augsburg, Hoffen, Karlstein, and Marienthal. But due to hostile interactions with local native tribes, these Germans wanted to move to a location that was much closer to the colonial capital of New Orleans. They would settle north of Lake Washa, which is modern-day Lake Salvador. In 1796, a man named Paul Toups received a land grant from the Baron de Carondelet for the purpose of developing a cattle ranch. Des Allemands was mainly the home of a New Orleans Opelousas and Great Western train depot and included a few scattered settlers of German descent around the area. Now, because of this train depot, though, it would be the target of Union and Confederate forces during the Civil War. The Battle of Bayou Des Allemands would occur on September 4th, 1862, when about 60 Union men under the command of Captain Clark was ambushed by 1,500 Confederates under Colonel McWaters at Booty Station. After that skirmish, the rebel forces made their way to the Des Allemands station for an attack, and they demanded the surrender of Union Captain Hall stationed in Des Allemands. Captain Hall would surrender with about 132 men in Des Allemands, but among those who surrendered were 7 Germans who enlisted from New Orleans. Once these men were recognized, they were immediately court-martialed. These 7 German men were condemned to death and were shot on the presumption that they were deserters of the Confederacy, which was entirely untrue. In 1901, a chapel was built as St. Gertrude's on the present site of the cemetery in Des Allemands. Now, before that, Mass was held in parishioners' homes, and a priest from Holy Rosary Church in Taft would make the trip. The newer church opened in 1955. Public schools in the area began as early as 1879, and one built in 1895 was on land owned by Charles L. Hopkins. 2 teachers taught 1st through 7th grade. In 1923, a wooden schoolhouse was built. It was a large room separated into 2 classrooms by a sliding chalkboard wall partition along its center. An additional room was later built. Now, that building endured until Allemand Elementary was built in 1931. The newer school was destroyed in an electrical fire in 1974, and the ruins were finally taken down in early 1990s. Students then temporarily attended classes at the Des Allemands Assembly of God Church and the Mennonite Church. The 1923 school, however, took on a life of its own. It was moved to Commodell Village, where it served local children until 1941, then to Bayou Gauche until 1959, and then back to Des Allemands. There, it became the American Legion Post 316. Across the street is the present Allemand Elementary, which opened in 1977. Now, Des Allemands remains a quiet, small town, despite Louisiana Highway 90 cutting through it. Be sure to stop by on your next Louisiana road trip, too, but more specifically to Spars and get their gumbo. Highly recommend. We couldn't bring you this information without your support on Patreon, and we'd like to thank those who have already contributed and encourage anyone watching this video right now to consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/Louisiana Dread. For more history, horror, folklore, and culture, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Kyle Crosby, and this is Louisiana Dread Quick History.